Welcome back to Gun&ShotTV. I've talked about a couple different takedown guns, and I think takedown guns are neat. So today we have a takedown shotgun. This is actually the first pump action shotgun design. This was designed by John Moses Browning for Winchester. He had actually come up with a pump action design before the 1887 lever action shotgun design, but Winchester wanted a lever action because that was their company trademark and their brand. So they said, go back and make us a lever action. So he did, but he'd actually had a design similar to this all worked out in 1887 that later went into production. Now, it originally went into production in, I believe, 1893. There was an 1893 Winchester, and it had a little different design to the cutout in the action here. And those were all recalled by Winchester, so you'll see very few of those guns. They're in existence, but like I said, they were recalled, and they were recalled such that you could just get a new 1897 shotgun. So many people took Winchester up on the offer. So you rarely see those. But this is the 1897 Winchester. Now this is a takedown. You've got this pin at the end of the mag tube. If I pop the pin in, and I twist the mag tube, and I pull the pump out, I can actually turn the action, and there's interrupted threads here, and it all pops apart. So that's pretty common. You'd see them sometimes in cases that would hold both these pieces, and it allowed you to take it apart and store it somewhere else. A lot of times you'll see these will get a little bit loose, and there is some screws here that will let you back out the block that holds the barrel in the mechanism, and you can actually adjust the fit. So sometimes you'll see one of these that's shot loose or is too tight. It's probably not going to be tight very often, but sometimes you'll see one that somebody messed with. So that is adjustable and repairable, but it's one of those things you probably don't want to mess with unless you know what you're doing. But if it's grandpa's shotgun and it's loose, you can get it fixed, or you could do some research and figure out how to fix it yourself. But to put it back together, you're going to do the opposite. Put the barrel and action together, close the pump, turn the magazine tube, pop the pin, and now you have a functional shotgun. Now, the one thing about this design I don't like is the bolt actually comes out of the gun to cock the hammer. Oh, I've got a cock. So if you've got your hand riding high, it's going to take some skin off your thumb or the top of your hand. So every time you shoot one of these, you have to make sure that you've got it tucked right, or you're going to do some serious damage to your hand there. This is also a very early one with the fore end that's held with screws and these metal clips. And as you can see, the fore end is all broken. The pump's all broken here. That's common on this older design because it's so thin. Also, the stock is all splintered and cracked. That's also very common due to the thinness. Those were both changed later in the manufacture. This one dated to like 1905 according to the serial number, so it's an early example. And it's had what I would say is some rough service. It really doesn't have much finish, so to speak, left. It's got these weird stains, but those are like varnish or something. That's not even the finish. That's some sort of goo from being on something in a rack, I'm guessing. And this one is interesting because it's a full choke, and it should be a 28-inch barrel. But somebody cut the barrel down to about 20 inches and put a, I would say, 1920s looking bead front sight on it. So this was likely used in a bank or some sort of security function, a prison, something like that. And it probably sat in a rack and just pretty much sat for most of its life. You could also get these in a solid frame where it doesn't take down, but usually what you'll see here is a takedown. Now these guns, I would say, will run for somewhere, I would say 200 to maybe 500 bucks. The sweet spot's probably about 300 bucks. If you can find a functional example for about 300 bucks, it's probably a decent investment as a gun to shoot and have fun with. Now you should only shoot lead shot in it because the barrels with steel shot could rupture. The wood is a weak point. Like I said, mine's broken. I shoot it like this, but one day this is going to go out, and the new stock set to replace that wood is going to cost more than the gun's probably worth by the time I get it all put on and finished and everything. So it's one of those things you got to kind of want one. You'll see a lot of guys use these for cowboy action shooting because it does meet the cowboy action rules and that it was produced before 1900. Also, wild bunch shooting, it's the common shotgun in the movie The Wild Bunch, and in a lot of Hollywood movies you'll see these 1897 Winchesters just because they look so cool. They were also used extensively in the military in World War I and World War II as trench shotguns. And what they would do is they'd have a metal handguard, heat shield thing here, and a bayonet mount. Because the advantage to these is there's no disconnector. So if you were to hold the trigger down and pump the action, as soon as that bolt hits home, that hammer goes forward. So you could stand there and just work the action and unload a whole mag tube one after another. So there's a famous story that the Germans thought it was inhumane and a cruel weapon and tried to have it taken out of the Americans' hands because it was so deadly in the trenches. You know, picture buckshot, you're in an enclosed trench and a guy jumps over the wall and he's unloading 5 rounds of buckshot down a trench. You got nowhere to go, and all that shot's either going to hit you or hit a wall and bounce off and keep hitting people. So that's, you know, definitely a neat gun. I would go easy on them. Most of the guys that use them for cowboy action shooting, the joke is that they have 3 of them. One to shoot, one as a backup for when the one they're shooting breaks, and a third one that's at the gunsmith getting fixed because they do break often. There's a whole lot of moving parts in this mechanism, and they're all high tolerance, very finicky little parts. So you do end up having breakage if you use one heavily. But you know, if you're just using it to go shoot some clays, I've taken this, even though it's got a short barrel, I've taken it and shot trap with it, and it's kind of funny because everyone's like, "Why are you going to shoot trap with that?" And it actually shoots very well. I've done as good with this shooting trap as I have with any of my other shotguns. So, you know, they're neat guns, and if you're not beating on them, if you're not using them for, you know, cowboy action shooting or competition or something, they'll last in general use. They're just not the hardiest mechanism when you could use something a little more modern, or for cowboy action shooters. An 1887 is a much hardier action for competition use, or most of the really fast guys just go to a double barrel break action because it's so much quicker and you can only load 2 anyways. So that's pretty much all I have to say about the 1897. If you're interested in picking one up, I recommend you shop around. Like I said, you know, $300 would be what I would spend on one. Sometimes you'll see people that think they're worth $1,000, $2,000, and that may be if it was a rare model or a highly finished model. Winchester did a whole lot of different guns over the years, so definitely be informed and be aware if you're looking for one. But if you find a beater like this for about $200-300 and you want to shoot it and you have a good time with it, it's definitely a sound investment. Just make sure everything works and make sure if it's takedown that takedown mechanism feels snug. Like this is closed, you can't see a gap there. There's no wobble. You know, that's what's important. And it can be adjusted, like I said, but it's not something you really want to just, you know, buy a gun and have to deal with fixing that takedown out of the box unless you get a screaming deal on it. So for Gun&ShotTV, this is Chris saying thanks for watching. Have a great day.